Because, I mean, journalism's it's, like you were saying yesterday about the hype thing, it's all a big part of video games.
Oh, yeah.
But you forget, you're not a real journalist till you have the hat with, like, press written on it, like a feather in it.
I get that in second year, leave me alone, alright? we finish second year, they give us the hat.
Instead of the scholar caps, they just give you a bunch of them.
Yeah. Just we get a big bag, a big brown canvas bag with swag written on it, and they just throw hats out into the middle of the class, and we all fight for them, and we stab each other with pens, and then we become doctors of journalism. And then we can write about tits and ass and football in the Herald Sun. That'd be great. But yeah, no, VG-24 has a really good layout. Because it's all about accessibility more than actual information. I mean, really, because there's so much information on the internet and websites. Well, I don't want to use the word steal, but they take forcefully information from one another. And so it basically comes down to which website has the best design. IGN has a really good one, and which one is laid out in a really easy to access manner. VG-24. So.
This is IGN article here, actually. Why the 2-hour game is a future. I was thinking the other day, why games do mini games aim to be shorter these days?
No, there's just more of them. Because I think they're easier to develop and there's more people out there who want to develop them. Yeah.
Because I was thinking that, like, games that last, a few hours or something, like, could be like a model. A design model, because it could deliver like a movie, like a more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
You see this guy who's suing Ubisoft over Assassin's Creed?
No, we're talking about my thing. Shut up.
Wait, are we doing a thing? Am I supposed to be listening?
I don't know. I was just talking.
Josh, you do whatever your sweet little head wants.
Listen to your heart.
Britney Spears, a dancing game at a $20,000 bra. Yes, please, Kotaku.
No, I think with the shorter games, it's a case of a game like Skyrim or Grand Theft Auto. They have a long shelf life because they're open world games. A game like Limbo or Journey, which are really short but incredibly atmospheric and everyone loves them. They can pull it off because small budget, small game. But you can't, or it's really hard to make a good, solid linear game which lasts. I don't know what people, 8, 12 hours, that's what they usually want out of a game. And consistently have it that long. That costs a lot of money and time. So I think that's why there's so many smaller games now. Along with the fact that, easy to produce. Easier to produce. Yeah.
I mean, you can put it this way. I personally, I'm not a big fan of the 2-hour game because by the time I get to the end of it, I'm just like, that's it. You're done. I'm like an unsatisfied lover. Like, is that all you got?
Have you?
You're not a very generous person, are you, Josh?
No, I don't give any.
And then you make the game go and get you a sandwich.
But yeah, no, I mean, when I think about all the great single player games I have, a lot of them last anywhere between like 6 to like Skyrim, which is you can plug hundreds of hours into that game.
Yeah, but again, that's open world. That's really it's not. I don't want to say cheating because it's an amazing game, but it is kind of people make their own adventures in that game just as much as the creators put their adventures into it.
Well, I mean, Uncharted is about 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hardly a short game, but it takes you multiple sittings to, get through it. And I'm a big fan of that. I just, like I said, I mean, the whole 2-hour game thing. Call me greedy, but it just, I'm always left wanting more, which is a good and bad thing. But I mean, the amount of money that I play into a game, I want to feel satisfied by the end of it.
Yeah. Oh, I think it also depends with like a short game. It can be just as satisfying if it's done correctly. If they make it short and punchy and it's right to the point. Like remember a while back how this Bastion became everyone's fucking little darling that they couldn't. Like if you said one thing bad about it, they would cut you. They would cut you on the internet. I wasn't the biggest fan of Bastion because I think the only reason why anyone really liked it was because of the narrator. But the fact that everyone fucking went ape shit over it kind of shows that a small game can make a person, feel satisfied and can make them, go on this journey that another game could take 3 to 8 hours, or in Final Fantasy's case, like 80.
Hey, we're not here to bash Final Fantasy, Andy. I will punch you right in the nuts.
That's not a segment. That's just the way I live my life. That's part of me.
Final Fantasy is not as bad as you give it credit for. It's no worse than any other RPG.
No,
you can put hundreds of hours into Skyrim for what? I haven't finished Skyrim. Yeah, that's right. Saying it on the internet. I didn't finish Skyrim. I got bored. I got bored of Skyrim.
A lot of people didn't finish Skyrim.
Skyrim bored the shit out of me. I have logged 13 hours in Skyrim, and that was over a period. That was over a period of about a month.
Okay, you're playing it wrong. This is how you're meant to play a Bethesda game. You boot up an Elder Scrolls game. You go on one of the mod sites. You get a character skin, which makes that guy look like Samuel L. Jackson. You play for 50 hours. You explore all of the dungeons in Oblivion. Then about halfway through one of them, you realize, holy shit, they're all fucking identical. So you start listening to your music over the game. Then when you hit the 50-hour mark, your save file corrupts, the game crashes, and you have to start again. And at that point, fuck it, I'm not playing this Shivering Isles. That's how you play. I don't know the scroll.
I can't help but feel that there was a personal touch in there.
No.
That sounds very common.
It's
fucking
bullshit.
I mean, look, the difference. My point being, I mean, you could give me any, even like the pre-voice acting Final Fantasies with like walls of text to explain plot. I find that more immersive than Skyrim ever immersed me. It was that, like, it's not a bad game. I just didn't find it as fun as everybody. But I felt obligated to go, yeah, Skyrim's good, while in my head screaming, nah, not just no.
I think that's because, well, like you said, you enjoy like reading the wall text in Final Fantasy, but when you read the wall text, you're kind of using your own imagination to flavor it, yeah? And I think that's what a lot of people have with that world.
It's just most of the Final Fantasies I like were pre-voice acting, like pretty much Final Fantasies, like, 6 through 9.
So you only watch silent movies, eh?
6 through 9. And
Those damn talkies ruined Hollywood.
It's like when the first time I played 10, it was like hearing a silent movie star appear in his first audio movie, and then he just has like a really terrible voice, and it just ruins it completely. Like, I enjoyed Final Fantasy X, but I thought like Titus, his acting, and I love James Arnold Taylor because, I mean, he gave us Ratchet, and I love Ratchet and Clank, and his voice is perfect for that. But he does the same voice for Titus, so I couldn't take Titus seriously as a character. I mean, don't get me wrong, his character was flawed anyway because he was just a bitch for like all of the 80 hours I plugged into that game, or however many times I played it. But it ruined it. So basically, give me Final Fantasy 6 to 9, and I would rather play that than Skyrim.
Wow. Have you played the new ones? Because
Final Fantasy?
Yeah,
Final Fantasy 13 is a piece of shit, and I refuse to play 13 too because of that.
Have you actually finished 13?
No, it is the first Final Fantasy game I have not finished.
Wow.
Because I got about like 10 hours into it when everybody's like, it starts to get fun after 10 hours. I don't think I even made it 10 hours. I made it up to like 9, and then went, you know what? It shouldn't take 10 hours for this game to get good.
Oh.
And I mean, the whole auto battle thing, I hated the hell out of that. Just one button. You can basically just set up your characters however you want, and you can basically press one button to get through the game. Occasionally, you might have to get saucy and actually select a move, but God forbid that should happen, because you've got the auto battle button.
Well, I mean, look, 2 buttons, that's basically a grand strategy game you're playing already. It's just...
It's a grand strategy without any thought. It's basically... It made the game work. I mean, Jake played it for about 10 minutes before he went, nope, and then turned off my PS3.
That's true. It's exactly what I did.
Wait, so you've played every single Final Fantasy, like even...
Yeah, in emulated forms and etc.
And this is the first one you're like, no, fuck it, I don't care.
Minus the online ones. I haven't played any of the online.
From what I hear, they're not that amazing. Well,
it's the only one I just went, no, God, no, no.
Do you think though, if like you had put in 10 hours, and the rest of the time was like amazing?
I asked one of my friends who he had he agreed with me, but he had the resilience to make it through and finish the game. He said the only reason it gets good after 10 hours is because it stops being completely linear and lets you travel the world. So basically, I could just go to the other places in the world, not have fun, and then cry, and then repeat until final boss.
Oh God, that sounds. Why is Square Enix giving it a sequel?
I don't know. They have chosen like the most random games to give sequels. The only decent sequel or prequel, I suppose, for the Final Fantasy series was Crisis Core. I mean, Final Fantasy 7, my all-time favorite game, so it may sound a bit prejudiced, but Crisis Core was an amazing prequel because it didn't change anything. It had basically, like, they built a new battle system for it, and it worked. It worked well, and it didn't feel like work to play it. And you actually had to think.
You didn't have to play 9 hours of no fun.
I finished that game in a couple of days. I think maybe I logged in about 20 hours all up.
Yeah, about
that. Yeah, I took my time, and I sort of... So, like... I think I've said this to you before, and you agree with me. Final Fantasy VII, the remake, or even Final Fantasy VIII, or even to a lesser extent 9, any of those three would be a license to print money for Square. Yeah, and I don't see why they don't want to put the time and money into it.
It makes no. You think it's maybe something behind what the general public sees? There's something happening internally with Square Enix as why they can't do it?
I don't think it's that. I think because there are a few of the people who worked on the original game, like this is from what I've seen, like clips where they're like, "Oh, if we could remake any one of them, I'd definitely pick 7 or I'd definitely pick 8." But one of the creative directors on the Final Fantasy series had actually said to put in the amount of detail that they built 12 with would take like double the time it took to make 12, which I think was in development for about 4 years, 5 years.
And look how that turned out. I mean, it's...
And that's my other point. I don't want them to... I want the remake, but at the same time I don't, because I know if they remake it, they will ruin it somehow. Somehow they will destroy one of the few things I love.
Yeah.
It's and my basketball. That's all I've got left.
Wow. You're a really broken down human being, aren't you? Well, fair enough. Yeah. It's just I don't know. With JRPGs, there's a lot of bullshit you have to sift through to actually get down and finish the game. Like you said, 100 hours. Now, if those 100 hours, if all of them are consistently, amazing, or not even amazing, but if there is fun in getting to that end stage, fair enough. But from the very few, like, again, maybe I just haven't given them enough time, but from the time I've given JRPGs, it's just, there's so much unnecessary back and forth, and the grinding, and the belt buckles. Oh, so many belt buckles.
Belt buckles?
Yeah, just the character design and all that, it's just, I couldn't never take it seriously.
Yeah.
That's just me, though.
See, I find all that I find that cool and not cool, but interesting, and I think
unique,
I think it really shows, especially so the difference between some of the games, like pretty much every game sort of had, like 7 was one of the first ones that had like this neo sort of steampunk and like neo modern kind of environment, and so everything had this element of just like grungy punk kind of stuff. Like, I don't know if you've seen things, but okay,
I've
my
seen
idea:
things,
Square Enix, give me money for this. Basically, it's Final Fantasy 7, level of Final Fantasy 13. Get rid of everything from Final Fantasy 13 apart from the graphics models. So just scrap it all, Square. Just scrap it. Replace that with like equivalent models from Advent Children or Crisis Core even. Just pretty much transpose them over into Final Fantasy 7. Then print money, and then bathe in $100 bills forever. So pretty much just take everything that Crisis Core was and make it Final Fantasy 7. Just continue on.
See, I
basically, because Crisis Core was the story leading up to the start of Final Fantasy 7. So basically, like the last cutscene of Final Fantasy, like Crisis Core, is the first scene of Final Fantasy 7.
Oh,
yeah.
See, I think the issue a lot of people will have if there was this remake is the fact that the story and everything it would definitely suffer changes. And I think, like for instance, with the remake of Silent Hill, when they not the remake, but when they made the HD re-release, like you would think that a game company would just be able to take a game, maybe update the visuals ever so slightly, and re-release it. Nope, fuck that shit up. So imagine what happened if Square Enix.
Well, you know
that with 7.
And you know what I think is one of the biggest dick moves of all time. When the PS3 was coming out, they remade the opening of Final Fantasy 7 as a tech demo.
Yeah.
That was just the biggest kick in the nuts to any lover of that game.
It really gave a whole generation of people the biggest set of blue balls.
Yeah.
It was pretty though.
Oh yeah, I definitely recommend. I mean, if you ever can find your way to sit through a JRPG, like I'm trying to find, there's a thing that they made for Advent Children, the complete version, that was like, it was a complete explanation of the plot of Final Fantasy 7. I definitely recommend you, like, if the story gets you, playing through that with that story was what really, like, it was my first gaming love. Like, I thought the story was amazing. I just, loved it so much.
Well, yeah.
You could probably cut out, like, the last 5 minutes of me just orgasming over Final Fantasy 7, Jake.
No, it's good. There's not nearly enough of that in this podcast.
No, keep going.
We need more of it.
I feel like such a jackass.
Cloud of Sephiroth, who would you bang? You gotta bang one.
Why not both?
Kill, bang, marry. Go. But there's only 2. Go!
Cloud, Sephiroth, and that black guy. Kill, bang, marry. Go, now. I love it. I love it that that's my full extent of Final Fantasy VII knowledge. The black guy.
The black guy.
Which, see, when I say that, I should really, like, take a step back. Like, I clearly don't know enough about the game to give it such criticism of, it's probably a really good game if I was actually, picked it up and played it from beginning to end. But the fact
everything about it is completely on the ball. Like, it's a traditional JRPG, and it is considered one of the best JRPGs of all time. Like, especially, like, Final Fantasy 7 and 8 are always debated about which one's better, etc. And then some idiot comes along and says 9, and everybody's like, dick. But yeah, it's like, Final Fantasy is a staple of the JRPGs. I mean, everything that you've said is spot on. But, I mean, it's a matter of, like, it's clearly a difference in taste, because I love a good JRPG, because I think in most terms Japan can do those sort of things better because they're weird and different to us. I mean, it always appeals to me a bit more than, like, Skyrim or.
I like that. They can make good games because they're fucking crazy. It's just, it's what they do, and they should keep doing it.
Andy,
Well, no, they are.
what?
But
You ever watched anime?
I've watched MXC. All right, now Takeshi's Castle. I know to the extent that Japan can go crazy.
That's the first part of like it explains the story of Final Fantasy VII in 3 parts, like 10 minutes each.
Jesus Christ! It takes 30 minutes to explain the plot.
It's a game that was set over 3 discs.
Yeah, but you can kind of just there's this guy and there's this girl and there's this other dude and the dude and the thing and then the shit blows up and then the credits roll. Boom, done. I could explain the Lord of the Rings in like a minute. It's
Not well.
yeah, but you don't need. There's a ring and there's this fat gay dude who lives in a hole and he goes to a mountain and he drops the ring and people die.
So I've got here, they've released actually, or some more information about Resident Evil's upcoming 6th sequel. I'm not sure of the exact word. I may be wrong. 6th sequel.
That's good.
Let's try that.
It's a word now.
Yeah, it's a
So
website.
they've actually confirmed. I don't know if you guys have seen the Captivate trailer. So basically, the Captivate trailer shows off Umbrella or whatever it is. Tricell. Is that? You guys don't play Resident Evil, do you?
Nope.
I'm the only one. Right. Shit. Well, shit. So basically, it unveils the new C virus. So we got some new monsters. We got some new characters. One of the new characters. Okay, well, let's look at these returning characters first. We got Chris Redfield, who we'll all know as Reddy. Call him Reddy. We're friends.
He's the generic white guy with the gun, yeah?
He's the guy from the first game, since you seem to know shit all.
Oh, he's the one who you get his jacket if you pre-order it.
No, that's Leon. So Leon is also returning. He's the one who you pay $1,300 for his jacket.
Does Chris have a leather jacket of his own?
No, he's all decked out in like soldier gear. He's a soldier, and Leon Kennedy works for like the government or some shit.
Yeah.
He's a federal service officer.
See, I should know all this because I've played like I think what it was either number 1 or 2. Not
Number 2 was the
extensively,
one.
but
Number 2 was the one in Raccoon City. I don't know if you play City.
that's the one
number
you
1
play
was
as
Seth May.
Valentine or what's her name?
Jill Valentine. That's number 3.
Okay, no, my bad.
So we got Chris and Leon, 2 big staples for the series. Doesn't matter whether you're a fan of either. I've always been a fan of Leon. I liked Resident Evil 4. Thought it was nice, fun.
It's Twilight now. You got to pick sides.
Yeah, well, apparently the trailer, at the end of the trailer, Leon and Chris have like a face-off, and there's like a gun because they're talking about this is wasted on you guys. There's this girl Ada from number 2. She's like kind of evil, but Leon needs her as a witness.
I love that as a character description. She's kind of evil.
Just a little bit.
She's not like Pol Pot, but she's definitely like a man.
She works for the bad guys, essentially. So Leon and Chris have this face-off because Chris wants to kill Ada because Ada is the one who released the virus in the new setting, which I'll come to a bit later.
Okay, that's not kind of evil. That's evil, man. That's that.
She works for the...
Doesn't matter who you work for. That's still evil.
Kind of is... Let's just say I said it with sarcasm. Shut up, Andy. We got Sherry Birkin, who is also a returning from Resident Evil 2.
Never heard
of it. Daughter of William Birkin, who...
Not important. Haven't heard of it, not important.
Okay. Ingrid Hunnigan from Resident Evil 4.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, well, shit. So basically, the game will have 2 settings. Lanxiang in China, which is where...
I have.
Okay. It's in China. And basically there's another place called Tall Oaks, which is just very similar to Raccoon City. So it's just another city setting where the town is infected by the C virus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically...
Why is it called the C virus?
Because they use G.
The third letter in the alphabet.
They use T and G. So, what other letters are there, Andy?
I don't know. I just can't answer that. That's
there is
a pay grade.
There is a third main storyline concerning a new character called Jake Mueller, who is the son of Albert Wesker, series antagonist. No.
Yeah, I know of.
I know. He's the one who has the leather jacket and
Yes, the son. He's in Marvel vs. Capcom.
And then he takes off the jacket in that one scene in number 5, and he's like, I don't give a shit. He like kind of flicks it off, and it looks all cool. And there's it's like John Woo style, and there are doves everywhere.
You're an idiot.
No.
So Jake Mueller is it is confirmed that he's Albert Wesker's son. So he's kind of seems like an anti-hero. Mm-hmm. It's kind of hard to tell from the trailer. It barely just plays him off as like, not my problem. I'm all not caring. Zombie virus, could be zombies.
Why is he so urban?
Because he has a jacket and stands in an informal stance.
Does he have a cap on backwards?
Okay, there's a new sidekick for Leon called Helena Harper. That is basically all the information that's been released about her so far.
Wow.
She helps Leon. That's a thing.
She sounds sexy. No, that's not true.
You are a smut peddler, Jake. That is sick. You're a sick man.
Definitely. I could see you running some form of like downstairs basement erotica store.
And you would be right, yeah.
But not a very good one.
I get a few regulars. It's all right.
No, people who go there do not come back. They are not happy with the service. Everything's sticky. There's a stale smell radiating up from the floorboard. It's not a pleasant thing. So I should probably play the Resident Evil games, huh?
I always enjoyed Resident Evil as a franchise. I thought Resident Evil 2 is probably one of the best survival horror games I've ever played. Controls sucked, but no, seriously, if you ever play a Resident Evil game, and I'm sure somebody who is listening will know what I'm talking about. Basically, it's like when you need you press the directional buttons to turn. Basically, you use up and down to go forward and back, and then you turn on the pivot. So if you press left, you don't actually run left. You turn left, and then you press forward to run.
Wow.
That sounds god-awful.
It sounds really bad.
It really is. Also, there's an aim button, and you can't move while aiming.
I can kind of understand why, maybe, to add a sense of... you have to line up the shot, and the person wouldn't be able to actually shoot the zombie if they were moving or something. But even then, yeah, that is kind of annoying.
That just sounds just annoyingly restrictive. That doesn't sound helpful or entertaining at all.
Well, yeah, it does sound. It would be cool if they could you could, for instance, move and fire, but your aim would just be god awful. That would be kind of a restraint that still operates within the realm of
at least it has some sort of freedom to it.
Well, I think the whole reasoning behind it was to make you think about what you're doing. So basically, if you got 4 zombies and you're like, I walked into this room, I may as well just stand here and shoot them. They're going to kill you. They're basically so. But I mean, especially Resident Evil 1 and 2, they focused on the fight or flight method. So because there was so little ammo, if you chose to fight, more often than not, you'd end up running out of ammo a bit further down the track. Or if you decided to run, you could usually easily run past them because they were they're the shuffling zombies,
Yeah.
And that's all the information that's been released for now. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not too sure how I feel about it because it seems like they're going for more of an action-oriented experience this time rather than the survival horror that Resident Evil was known for. Not so much anymore. I mean, those movies were god awful.
Is Mila Jovanovic gonna be in?
Jovovich.
Her last name is unpronounceable. It doesn't matter.
No, you didn't.
No, it doesn't matter. As a person who comes from an Eastern European background, I'm allowed to say that.
It's like black guys and the N word.
One nigger.
Yes. There you go.
That's the one.
I don't know. There are plenty of bad N words out there. Like, no. I don't like hearing that.
And that's why you sound like a rapist.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, that's all the information that's been released at the moment. So hopefully Capcom will release a little bit more in the upcoming... I think it's set for an end-of-year release. I think they're looking at like November, October. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I know they are looking for later on.
In time for Christmas.
Who would have thought? Some guy at Capcom's just sitting there, like, tapping his fingers. They're like, yes, nobody will ever think of releasing a game before Christmas.
Yeah, some Machiavellian genius. Yeah, I've realized when people buy things.
I think, like, after playing 5, it's not going to live up to any expectations I have for the series anymore.
Yeah,
So,
well, I mean, with 5 was really when they just totally did stopped being survival horror and just became action, really. From what I saw, anyway. Like, it's not, so, yeah, how you were saying you were hoping that they're going to get back to the roots. I doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so talking about failed expectations, Dragon Ball Z for Kinect. Yeah.
Is it anything like Star Wars Kinect? In the sense that everyone's gonna...
It also rapes your wallet and any love that you have for a franchise.
Well, how much is it?
Basically, I am not sure. I haven't even looked at it because I saw the gameplay footage and then went, nope, this is nothing. I mean, basically, it's exactly what you'd expect from a Kinect game. It's really basic movements. There's no voice recognition. I mean, what's a Dragon Ball Z game without you furious, like a parent running into a room because 3 children are furiously screaming at a TV screen? I mean, what's the point?
I don't fully understand why people, or how people think Dragon Ball Z Kinect game could work. Because Dragon Ball Z, the show, everything was incredibly physical, and I don't see how you could even... Like, with Star Wars Kinect, yeah, you have a lightsaber, so, the Wii remote can function as that, and kind of see that. But with Dragon Ball Z, you can't, fully incorporate the entire body into just the controller.
Well, yeah, basically, if you haven't seen the gameplay footage, it's like you just stand there and then, like, punch. Like, in one spot.
Yeah, how would flying operate? How would...
You don't. You don't.
No, if you can't fly in real life, you can't fly in game. That's it.
How does the whole standing there and charging up
so basically it's like
20 hours work?
Well, you get ad breaks, so that's fine.
Of course.
Just halfway through, Hasbro will start spruiking their new toy.
Yeah.
But you have to keep your arms up the whole time.
Does the game have that really sweet, deep-voiced announcer guy?
No,
in last week's episode, no? Is there a level where you have to run up Great Snake Way, and that takes forever?
You just jog on the spot for 2 hours straight.
Yeah.
It's more than 2 hours. Isn't it taking like 2 weeks or 3 weeks to go there?
No, that's right, yeah.
Bullshit.
Oh, and there's a whole thing, and you scan the QR codes. It's like the little weird codey things. You scan them in to unlock characters. Yeah.
They're taking interactive way too seriously.
It's not interactive. That's just that sounds like DLC, but just in a different method.
Essentially, you just stand on the spot, occasionally perform a Kamehameha, and then that's it. You only move if you do like a special attack or if you get knocked back or whatever. But apart from that, it's just you furiously air punching a screen.
So they just wanted to get in on the Kinect gimmick, the whole motion sensing gimmick.
Basically, I mean,
yeah.
Come on, any like us all being 90s kids, we grew up watching Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
So I mean, this really is the closest thing to having a dream shattered that I've ever had.
Really? You actually expected it to be good at one point? You can't.
Not if you ignore it. It's fine.
To be. the thing is, it's not so much that I expect it to be good. I wanted it to be good. I really
That
wanted
was
it
your
to be.
first mistake there.
Yeah, I was perfectly happy with the Budokai. Well, not all of them, but more or less, I was happy with Budokai as a series.
They were
That's all I
excellent.
know.
I briefly picked up Ultimate Tenkaichi, and I had a lot of fun with that. So I'm definitely going to pick that up. It's on my list of games to get.
You know, I always found it weird that Dragon Ball Z didn't expand into a fighting game and become, you know, really dominant in that genre. Because that series has more than enough, you know, character rosters, special
I think it's
moves.
the way they went about it, though. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like the Budokai games were necessarily unentertaining.
Oh, no, they were great
I mean,
fun.
they did all right. I think the thing is that they did averagely, and that was the problem.
Yeah. But see, they clearly didn't do like so average that they didn't get a sequel. Because I mean, there's been how many? There's been
It's kind of like
four Budokai games plus Tenkaichi, and then a couple of other ones, I think.
they're doing the same thing with Naruto at the moment. Like Naruto, I mean, there's the shit ton of Naruto games. I've never watched the show, but I've played like 30 seconds of a Naruto game, and that shit is not for me. Admittedly, the game was in Japanese and it was on the Wii, so basically, it had two completely just unimmersive things for me.
Did all the ninjas have crazy, retarded spells like they did in the show, like making giant frog fire lizards and giant
Well, there was a dude and
tables that shoot grass?
fought him, and then he was another dude for some reason, and then I turned it off and ran away and hid in a corner for a while.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
But yeah, so I mean, this is a big shot. I mean, why? Like they must have known that this is like, as soon as everybody sees the trailers for this, they're just gonna go, oh, well, puts wallet back in the pocket.
Is it really that bad though? I mean, you couldn't have honestly expected it to be. I mean, especially after what we got with Star Wars Kinect.
Hey, Star Wars Kinect is not exactly terrible.
No, but
it was terrible.
It's not exactly terrible, no. But the fact that it basically just shits on the fans. Like you know, people who didn't want that to happen to their favorite franchise happened to their favorite franchise. So it's not so much of a question of, you know, it being god awful. It's a question of, you know, fan loyalty and abusing it.
But games have Q&A teams, right, that test the games. Who played that game and said, yep, this is good? Who?
10-year-old kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, no 10-year-old kid is going to stand up to you and just, your Han Solo shot first. That's never going to happen.
No, but I will pay money now for a child to yell that. I'll kidnap a child and I'll let him free once he does it.
Little kids are stupid. That's it. They're dumb. Their brains haven't fully developed yet, and they don't understand things like fan loyalty or not abusing a franchise. And if I was to say George Lucas, they would know what the fuck I would be on about. Now, if I say George Lucas to, you know, anyone who's, I don't know, our age or older, most people would just, you know, spit on the dirt and yell fuck, I think.
Jake, you've been a little bit quiet for a while, so let's talk about something that I know that you'll have something to say. Halo 4 release date, it's been announced for, I think, 16th of November?
Yep, 6th.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
6th?
Yep.
That's even closer.
He's on the ball.
I don't have an Xbox. So it doesn't bother me. But yeah...
we were discussing this today, weren't we? What were we talking about?
We discussed... I think my main thing about the game is that they need to specifically turn around at this point and say more than just, oh, we're going to delve into who is Master Chief? We're going to define Master... They need to turn around and go, like, whether or not this is not going to be the Halo you know. We're going in a different direction. Do not expect Halo 3, but with a 4 in front of it.
Well, with what I was reading today, they were saying it is a much more personal experience between Cortana and Master Chief. Because I think we were saying that their relationship is symbiotic essentially because she's in his head the whole time. The whole
So
series.
Master Chief is going to be a tranny. It's going to be transgenderism. That's going to be the issue of the game.
Well, that's going to be the interesting thing because he doesn't have a face and he's not really human.
Well, see, my problem is if what happens to that is the same thing that happened to Other M. Like, I think, Andy, you'll probably agree with me at some point. Like, you know how everybody's like, ooh, they're giving Samus a voice, you know? She's finally going to talk for the first time. And then she did, and it turned out that she was just like a whiny bitch. And then literally had all the fans going, make her shut up! Make her shut up!
The other thing that was said though, this is sort of relating to what you said about the 343 turning around and saying it's different. An interesting thing with it, this is a bit of a side law for Halo. The AIs that they design go insane after a certain time because they process information and learn about 10,000 times faster than a human. And they eventually go insane because of so much information. And at this point of the story, Cortana goes insane. So this is like breaking down Master Chief's only friend. And only
So wait,
person to
Katana's
talk to.
going insane? Is
Yeah.
that a thing that's happening?
That's what's happening.
Oh.
Bitch be crazy.
Bitch be high. Dying
What?
and shit.
So what they're saying it's gonna be more about Master Chief and that almost symbiotic relationship with Katana. See, at this point, it's gonna be very hard for them to kind of sway me, narcissistic little me, that Master
What,
Chief
you
is
narcissistic or cynical in any form or fashion? No. No.
I hide it well.
Say it isn't so, Andy.
No, it's gonna be. I can't imagine deep touching moments with Master Chief. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they would do that, or if they would like bring his humanity up as an idea, because even that's out there for him.
Okay, see, if they do that, it runs the big risk of him just being a whiny douche.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, this brings it back to the Other M issue. I mean, is there such a thing as this character who has been silent for such a long time? Trying to add personality to that. I mean, I haven't played a lot of Halo, but wasn't his like thing from the other games just one-liners?
Really sarcastic.
Like,
No,
one-liners.
it wasn't really one.
I'm pretty sure in the first game, like they're crashing and he's like, "Hold on, it's gonna get bumpy," or something like that. Or he thinks it really loudly and Cortana says it. Maybe, I don't know. What can I say?
See, the issue is that if you give a character that doesn't have a voice, it's going to piss off everyone. Well, not everyone, but the vast majority of fans. Because when a character doesn't have a voice, people put their own things into the character. So imagine if they gave Link. No, imagine if they gave Link a voice, for instance, and he had full-on discussion.
He does have a voice.
No, but okay, instead of being Nigel Thornbridge from all those god-awful meme videos, imagine if he actually had a voice, that he started speaking. A lot of fans would be like, well, he sounds like a whiny douche. Or other people would be like, no, he shouldn't say that, or he shouldn't say this, or, he should be more like that. The exact thing is going to happen with Master Chief. It's going to be, he should be more like Duke Nukem. No, he should be less like Duke Nukem. He should be more like Serious Sam. No, less like Serious Sam.
No,
and
then that's the thing. The problem isn't the fact that they're trying to give Master. Like for me, this is how I see it. The problem won't be that he's getting a voice. It'll be what they make him say. So how they decide to explore his personality. I mean, if it fits in with the tone of the story, like Jake said, I agreed with him with the whole the symbiotic him and Cortana, because they've been together since the first game, and she's pretty much the only person he has consistent contact with, out to my understanding. So basically, with her breaking down, it'd be interesting to see 343 pull this off and actually bring out a decent story, whilst at the same time revealing that side of Master Chief. And I really like, and yes, 343, if you're listening, probably not, a guy who doesn't know you and you don't know on the internet believes in you. Remember that. I just imagine that picture of like the puppy dog and with like his paw pointing to the camera, just like, who's good? You're good. But yeah, no, I honestly think if they can pull it off and they can do it in a way that, in I suppose a tasteful way that doesn't completely throw the character off the deep end, I think it'll be absolutely brilliant.
It'll take some good writing for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm sure they've got thousands of monkeys trying to type Shakespeare as we speak. Thousands upon thousands of monkeys.
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, I remember playing Halo 1. The main personalities in that game were Cortana and the little robot guy.
The cube thing, the sphere.
I want to say Wheatley from Portal 2.
I keep on thinking Wheatley. Isn't it like the Spark?
343 Guilty Spark.
Yeah, the Spark,
Yeah,
they were the main two personalities in the game. They kind of...
The only two personalities in the game, apart from scared as hell Marines.
Yeah, there's like the colonel or the general or whatever, but he is very little involved in the game. And those two personalities kind of, well, I wouldn't say counteracted each other, but they kind of played off each other nicely. One was, the quiet, feminine voice in the back of your head, always guiding you through the levels, and the other one was a bit of a psychotic machine, more or less. And that, that kind of duality worked nicely in the game. And I think for instance, if in that game, Master Chief had a personality and had spoken, that would have ruined that dynamic and would have made the game a bit worse.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid that if they make, Master Chief's personality the central figure, or, a larger figure in these games, it could, to put it bluntly, it could have gone down fuck up big time, yo.
You remember that time in I keep on saying Mass Effect, Halo 1, where, 343 Guilty Spark takes you through, the library?
Yeah.
And then he's all like, you gotta turn on this machine. And Cortana's like, don't turn on the machine, Master Chief. Master Chief's like, no, fuck you. And then turns on the machine. And then the Guilty Spark's all like, destroy everything. And then Cortana's like, told you. That was awesome.
Yep.
Thanks,
and
that
sums up everything I know and remember about Halo 1.
Well, what about something that we've all seen recently, the Dishonored debut trailer?
Oh yes, here we go.
This is the good stuff.
Is it the top comment on the Bethesda trailer? Half Bioshock, Creed. What's the last one? Something Singularity.
Half Bioshock's Creed Human Singularity.
That's the one.
That pretty much describes the trailer and what we've seen.
I gotta be honest, for a game that looks as unique as it does, it looks very familiar. Yes,
that's the. It's like that voice in the back of your head, like when you have a song stuck in your head and you can't remember the name of it. That's what it gave me.
Yeah.
I was like, I know you from somewhere.
Well, it is like they've just taken all the parts of different games and just put them together.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it looks interesting.
It looks absolutely brilliant. If the cinematic trailer, unlike the Dead Island one, which we won't talk about because it'll just bring me into fits of rage, if that delivers as compelling gameplay as it looks like it wants to, I will give all my money to Bethesda.
To me, CGI trailers now are the devil. I love them. They're pretty as all hell, but you cannot trust them because Dead Island is a main example. For every single MMO ever, massive epic battles happen in CGI trailers. You log in, you press 1, you press 2, you kill the enemy, you loot the loincloth, and I'm afraid this game might have that. So it looks all parkour, shooting fireballs from your hands, stop in time, weird cybernetic walkers in the street, and then you get into the game and it's a piece of shit. So I don't trust CGI is what I'm saying.
I think to not trust it would be a bigger mistake. I mean, purely I'd rather get hype as shit for it and then be disappointed every time because at least it means I still have feelings. I just want to know I can still feel something. But
you can feel disappointment.
It's not the same. No, but I mean, it looks so good, and I am a big.
It's still CGI. You can't.
It doesn't look good as a game. It looks good as a movie.
I'm a big fan of plot, so I mean, something like that it was as compelling. Like I love a good story, If a game can,
You can't.
let me put it this way: Uncharted gameplay is average. It's very run of the mill. It's nothing out of the ordinary. But that storyline and that level of production just absolutely makes that game brilliant for me to play. And I love the Uncharted series purely for that fact, because its storytelling is to such a high caliber that none of the other things detract from it, and they just make it a good experience for me as a player.
What I don't get where you're coming from is the fact that you think the game is automatically going to have a good story just because the trailer says it will. Now, it could have an amazing story, like, the whole setup, the guy was betrayed.
Yeah, I mean,
Queen's dead and all that. Yeah. But
let's find that any bit compelling, or
that could be very compelling, or it could turn out to be like what happened in Prototype, where you play this really powerful guy, and originally the idea could be awesome. He was betrayed, and his government, lied to him, and then you play the game, and the story's a piece of shit, and you're like, wow, this is god awful.
No, that doesn't count. Prototype sucks.
Yeah, this could too. This could suck big time.
But Prototype still got a sequel. As much as it sucked, Prototype still got a sequel.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's good, and that doesn't mean that it should have happened, but it did. And that's the crown of thorns we have to wear.
You're too early to tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not telling you wrong. I'm just saying it to look at it with perspective. It's a CGI trailer.
No.
Those things are horribly deceptive. Well, they are. They really, really are.
They are, but I mean, I've still got, let's see, fool me once, shame. No, okay, so this one will be my fault if it's bad. Fool me twice, shame on me. Yeah, so if this one is wrong, I will officially stop being hype as shit about good-looking games.
Good.
But please, Bethesda, hurry up so I can give you my money.
I'm just excited if they had a gameplay trailer and the gameplay trailer looked good, by all means be excited. But the fact that the CGI trailer has nothing to do with the gameplay, and it just shows a sequence that probably won't even happen in game. It's just a little summary of what they would like the game to include. It's not it's not excitement worthy, I don't think.
No.
Yeah. Well, there you go. What games did you get out of it when you saw the trailer?
Me, definitely the biggest thing was I think, and I had this, we had this discussion a little bit before.
Yeah.
I definitely at the start with for those of you who haven't seen it, we'll try and post the link in where we post this on VG-ROMP. But if you haven't already seen it, go see it. Go to YouTube, Dishonoured, look it up. But basically, the start of it, where he's in the cell and they're talking about the whole, you were her bodyguard, and you betrayed her, but we all know the truth. And then he's all like, "I'm a wizard." And I was like, "Yep,
that's pretty much it." Yeah.
He's a steampunk cybernetic wizard.
Yeah, see, but attaching Bethesda to that at that point, it makes it look like Bethesda. Okay, got it. Fantasy setting, dragons, wizards. What you got for me, Bethesda? Bring it on to me.
Oh, isn't Bethesda the publisher?
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, then Arkan Studios.
Yeah, Bethesda though, they have a habit of, publishing those games. No.
Yes, they definitely have a habit of publishing video games. They definitely do that.
I said those kinds of games.
Big games?
I hate you so much.
No, they make successful games. Games that.
No, I'm talking about the fantasy settings. So, I mean, what they're most notable. When you say Bethesda, you automatically think Oblivion, Morrowind, Skyrim, the Three Scrolls, Fallout. Just
good old fantasy settings like Fallout.
I never liked Fallout 3. That's why I always forget about it.
Yeah, I never. I love New Vegas though. And they did make that.
Everybody tells me that New Vegas is better, but I just don't want it. I just don't want to try it.
Just try. Don't be a bitch.
Set in my ways.
No, New Vegas is, in my opinion, it's so much better. It feels more like it's really weird to describe, but it feels more like the previous Fallout 3 games. Now, to some people, that might be, the game doesn't have to be like its predecessor to be good. Well, no, it doesn't. But with New Vegas, it really helps. It really makes the game pop. And the annoying thing is, that's the one thing that I can instantly come up with, and that's such a you can't fully explain how the feel works in a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the annoying part. Like, why did you like it? It had a good feel. What? Huh? Are you retarded?
Yeah. But yeah, I think going back to the original point, Dishonor, very heavy. I thought it had very heavy fantasy feels, but turns out steampunk. So that sort of semi industrialized sort of look, industrialization or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But and then combine that with basically Assassin's Creed. Those were the biggest things I got from it. I didn't even associate Half-Life with those Walker things until somebody said Half-Life. And even then, I still don't see that much of a similarity to them.
It was definitely very Assassin's Creed, though.
Yeah, it's extremely Assassin's Creed. And maybe the supernatural elements definitely add something to it.
Well, I have to be honest. I like Arkane Studios for the fact that they made Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. I fucking love that game.
I have not played it.
It's really weird. It's not the most polished game, but it's just fun to play. Yeah, I also had one of the best archery mechanics in every game. It's really satisfying to just let loose an arrow and you hear that thud when it goes to the other guy's skull. So, I don't know. Like again, the game wasn't amazing, but it was fun, man. Yeah, I had a great time with it.
Yeah. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, and they also They also I think helped with BioShock 2.
I think BioShock 2 is very underrated.
I like BioShock 2. It was a good game.
I actually played it recently. I started playing it.
Yeah.
Very briefly, and then I've got a friend who's actually gonna hook me up with their copy so I can finish it. But I thought it was very I enjoyed it. What I played of it.
It could have been a DLC for BioShock 1, and it wouldn't have been any different.
See, you say that, but I mean, I think it felt good that it stood on its own and it told a different part of Rapture. But I kind of felt that it comes into its own as a standalone title. That's right, guys. We're talking about new games like BioShock 2.
But it was so much like number 1.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
But it sold itself as a new game. That's the problem I have with it.
What do you mean? It felt the same as number 1. It was a sequel. Of course it is. It's a sequel set in the same place, and basically the only difference is that you play as a Big Daddy. So essentially, it's crisscross.
Yeah, but I think that one difference was more than enough to change up the game.
Exactly. Definitely more than enough.
The fact
Using the same setting doesn't qualify as a Control-C, Control-V.
I mean, number 1 set up the Big Daddies to be these big hunks trapped inside a tin can. And they set them up to be not so much an enemy, but definitely as an obstacle. And for number 2 to put you in the shoes of 1.
Especially giving it that the emotional element with the little sister. I mean, it's beautiful.
I mean, if they had made BioShock 2 without the first one, so if BioShock 2 was number 1, it would not have been as good because we wouldn't have had this prior knowledge of the Big Daddies and the Big Sister. We wouldn't have been able to see them as through a third person perspective like we did in number 1. But because it was a sequel, we already had all this back knowledge from the previous game of how the mechanic works, and to see it as an outsider really gave it depth that made it.
But the fact that it required the first sequel. But the thing is, the only thing they changed was the perspective and added the Big Sisters. That's why I don't think it's a full game.
So basically, it's the same thing, except they changed the names, the people, the things that happened, and some of the gameplay elements. Does sound like BioShock.
I just didn't think they changed enough to warrant it being a full game. Really?
Well,
no, it's just I think
what would you like to have seen?
Yeah, well,
I'm not saying I could have seen more. I'm just saying they sold it as a full game for $90. It didn't give me enough. It didn't change anything. I played as a Big Daddy, and I saw a new enemy, and that was it.
I put it to you. I would pay full shock for BioShock 2 I would pay full price for that, but I wouldn't pay something like that for, there's like I wouldn't have paid that much for Bastion. I bought Bastion because it was $5. Yes,
yeah, but other
critical
different games, though,
darling
you
Bastion.
can't. No one would pay $90 for Bastion.
Exactly. That's my point. But Bastion, if you're saying it should have been DLC, if we use Bioshock 2 as DLC, it would have had to be condensed down to like Bastion. It wouldn't have been as long. It would have had that extra story element. But you're selling it as DLC, so it would have been about the same. So range it between, so what, the DLC?
Say if Bioshock 2 was $40, I could warrant that. But it wasn't a full game.
If it was $40, I think it would have been an even better game. But I see where you're coming from with the price tag. But I still think that the fact that the story was, I really enjoyed the story, and I enjoyed the setting of Rapture as a setting.
Yeah,
so I don't think it's lazy development. The fact that they, again, it's not really reusing the setting. It's just set in Rapture. The levels are different.
Same thing as Modern Warfare. I'm seeing these on the same level, pretty much.
No, the story in Bioshock, I think.
Just because the gameplay is similar, I mean, it's like saying, basically, it's like saying Counter-Strike and Counter-Strike Source are just one shouldn't exist purely because they're basically the same game, just with different settings. I mean, Bioshock 2, it changed enough about it that it was a brand new game. And that is why it stood as a standalone title. And like Andy said, and it was a brilliant point, the whole fact that you got to see it from that third person perspective, and you get to see that the Big Daddy has being this, it's set up to be this completely inhuman monster, and then you see it walking around protecting the little girls, the little sisters.
Yeah.
And then as getting to play as one added that huge, it was a huge emotional element. And this comes back to, this maybe come from me who, 5-10 minutes ago, I said that I love games with a good story, and I enjoyed playing what I have of Bioshock 2 so far.
It's probably just me, but if I didn't know any better and I wasn't told Bioshock 2 existed, if that was tagged onto the end of number 1, I would probably assume it was Bioshock 1 still. And that's nothing.
Why?
It felt like Bioshock 1 the whole time. And that's why I said that.
Yeah, but I mean, a sequel doesn't have to reinvent itself 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, from when I played it, it gave you some new weapons. Well, I mean, all of the weapons were new.
The drill arm.
The harpoon gun, all that. Yeah. You had the same plasmids from the previous game, but with new ones added. You had entirely new levels. You were playing from a different perspective. Everything was different except for the fact that you were still in Rapture. And then there was, some of the game characters from the previous games made an appearance, and some of the audio logs were also from, Andrew Ryan and other people from the previous game. But again, it was a totally different game. It was just the same setting.
Were we talking about Dishonor 20 minutes ago?
Yeah, we know. We talked about Dishonor, then... and then I said Arkham Studios helped design Bioshock 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Dishonor,
it's... Messiah. Oh, man, Dark Messiah.
I think Dishonor is going to be a massive... especially with a trailer like that, it's going to get a lot of people to keep on watching that development, and I really look forward to hearing more information about it.
Definitely. Well, I mean, let's just hope it doesn't go the way of the other game that Bethesda published by the multiplayer one that fucking no one wanted to buy. Brink, that was it.
Oh shit, that was Bethesda?
They published it.
Oh. Wow, if hopefully Arcane, because quite obviously it's going to include parkour, maybe they can work out a deal with Ubisoft and just get the Assassin's Creed controls, just sneak them in there and apply them to their game, because Assassin's Creed free running, it can be annoying at times, but I think it's probably some of the most fluid parkour, maybe aside from Mirror's Edge.
Yeah,
which I loved.
I think a lot of people are going to put the emphasis on Bethesda, but they are the publisher, so in the end, they're not going to have that
so popular.
Yeah, but I mean, Arkham Studios is still going to have the main control of the game.
Yeah, But you say that, but Bethesda get to make all the executive decisions, like being the publisher.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still going to be Arkham Studios' game
Yeah.
in the end. So, well,
Jake, anything to add?
I've got nothing else.
No. Family Guy Online has just announced that it's having an open beta. That's right.
That's happening now already?
Oh, yeah, man. Family Guy open beta.
I want to play that game because I know it's going to be terrible, and I want to experience it. I want the wave of fecal matter to just wash over me.
It's gonna be terrible.
Oh yeah,
I
want in.
Just. Are you signing up for it now?
I want to play it. It just looks so bad.
Alright, maybe it's something we'll have to put up on the blog. We'll sign up for the beta. We'll grab some footage and we'll see how that goes.
It's a beta. I don't think we're allowed to.
We're a small.
Is it a closed beta?
No, it's open.
Okay, well that's fine then.
That's yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Unless they stick an NDA under your nose, it's fine.
Yeah, it's open beta. But yeah, I don't understand why this is a thing that exists. Like, I get that Family Guy is popular, but
not so much anymore.
It's still pretty popular.
Oh yeah, well yeah, but I mean, it's lost some of its charm.
It's one of those things. I mean, they're just trying to make more money out of something they already know is popular. So
is it going to be what, free to play with microtransactions?
Yeah, I think that's the way they're going with it. But yeah, you've seen. There are a lot of I saw the play footage for it, and I was just like, yeah, no, that's So basically, it's really pandering for fans. It's like the South Park MMO that's coming up. I see the audience that's aiming itself at, but I think it's really just sort of jumping on a sinking ship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's so many MMOs out there now. See, I don't know. I don't know why they think every single MMO or how it can stay in business.
I mean, even Star Wars: The Old Republic is apparently doing worse than EA expected.
What is it? It's got 1.3 million users now?
It's not bad, but I think...
Yeah, considering that it was published by EA, it was created by BioWare, and that it's using goddamn Star Wars. That's a pretty...
How long's it been out, though?
A couple months.
Yeah.
That's not bad. 1.3.
The game had so much hype.
Yeah.
That you would think there would be... I mean, it's like, what is it? When Warhammer Online came out, that went over 1 million. And then people kind of, when you buy a MMO, you get 3 months for free. That ended, and they maybe pay for an extra month or something. And then they kind of started migrating out of it. That's usually what happens. And now it's... I don't even know what Warhammer now has. It's spinning in the bowl. It's about to get flushed. From what I saw. So I hope the Republic doesn't go that way, because I'm playing
I think the lack of, or the low amount of subscribers, I mean, just even though 1.3, 1.6?
3, I think.
1.3 million subscribers is still, it's a decent amount for an MMO that hasn't been out that long.
Yeah.
And I think, and I may be wrong about this, but they will definitely switch to a free to play model sometime in the future.
I hope so. They
will, and I think that is when they'll see an influx. I think once it becomes free to play, because you've been playing it and you've been telling me that the single player is fantastic, on its own. Yeah. So I think my problem would be is if I played it and then it felt like a game that I would have enjoyed as a standalone game, because I'm not a big MMO fan. I think I've played a couple with you, and I played WoW. Jake let me try WoW because he's a player. I played that for a while, and I was just I lack the concentration to put that many hours into a game that you have to really just sort of keep at. I mean, Dota 2 is probably the first game in a long time that has just made me want to try and improve and to keep playing to actually get better. But even then, that's a completely different, bag of chips, because...
Can I just ask you, Andy?
Chips? Yeah, man.
What does Old Republic offer in terms of innovation of MMO, minus the whole Star Wars lore? Because it seems that it's trying to rely on that to get subscribers.
Yeah.
What does it offer? Because a lot of MMOs fall into
Not
that
a
trap
lot.
of being a grind.
Not a lot. I gotta be honest. Not a lot.
So if it wasn't Star Wars, would it be entertaining?
If it wasn't Star Wars, well, I got given a free trial. So 7 days free trial. All right, up to level 15. So I couldn't lose, but I would not have paid for this game. It's not. I really like the voice dialogue, but I feel that because they rely so heavily on the voice dialogue, they had less quests and they had less missions. And for instance, there's a thing in the game. When you take a quest, every single quest has a bonus feature that you have to discover. So it's like, go to this place and get a package. All right. On the way there, there'll be monsters on the path. If you attack one of the monsters and kill it, a thing might pop up for the quest, like bonus, kill 10 of these guys and you get extra experience. So I think that's one of the ways they tried to counterbalance the fact that it's voiced so they couldn't have as many quests. Yeah. Companions, they're pretty cool. I really like the fact that every time you talk with someone, you not only have to pick what you want your character to say, but how it'll affect the companion.
So the companion, do they follow you around and help your quest?
Yes.
Okay.
You have a number of companions throughout the game. Because I have the free trial, I only ever get the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're fully voiced. You can. It's a classic Bioware companion. Anyway, anything you can do in a single player game with a Bioware companion, you can do in the MMO.
But that sounded like a Guild Wars thing, because Guild Wars introduced the companion thing, and if you didn't have other players to play with, you could recruit NPCs to come and quest with you.
Well, I mean, I was surprised. There was I think they call them flashpoints in this game, but it's basically like a dungeon or instance or whatever, If you don't I was playing with my other friend David, who gave me the trial, and it was me, him, and our two companions, and we were able to finish the instance because the companion characters aren't quite as powerful as actual players, but you can definitely use them as a big crutch to lean on if you don't have anyone to help you. So I like those two aspects, the voicing and the companions. The two things BioWare was just shoving down everyone's throat when the game came out. They were just pushing that like nothing else. Because the game doesn't have a lot of else.
No, it didn't really sound like it.
But no, it's mechanics are incredibly similar to WoW. So to some people, that might be a good thing. To me, it isn't. Because I played WoW for 2 years, I think, before I was like, nah, fuck it, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, it just sounds like they took a crack at MMO and they didn't really do much with it. They just sort of threw a bunch of stuff together, threw some basic mechanics. It's
like if it wasn't Star Wars, I wouldn't have bothered at all. I would have played maybe for an hour or two, like, fuck, I don't care. It doesn't have anything to offer, really. Nothing that new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I hope it does go free to play, and I hope it does expand and progress. Because as a free to play game, I would play it, but because I like Star Wars, but not 15.
Ooh, Star Wars.
Yeah, it's like
I haven't said anything for a while.
when Age of Conan came out, they actually changed the mechanics a bit. So instead of you just whacking one button over and over, you had to hit left, right, and up, and your character would swing the sword in that direction, and it could, result in some cool, like parries and blocks and critical hits and all that. Now, if they had that kind of mechanic in this game, I think that would be cool. The whole lightsaber combat kind of stuff. It's not different enough.
A lot of MMOs fall into that trap.
Yeah,
that's why they fail.
Even visually, it's not. I keep making the comparison to WoW because it's the biggest MMO out there, and they've clearly copied so many things from it.
Yeah.
Even the interface looks similar to WoW.
Well, how can you not? Like, how intimidating would it be to try and go up against? It's a behemoth, pretty much. WoW.
Oh yeah. No, it's like I can see why they did it. Copying elements from WoW is kind of like a safety net for them.
Yeah.
I'm assuming maybe they also tried to draw in the crowd from WoW. Like, it's kind of like WoW, but it's Star Wars and it's fully voiced. But it's just WoW was already there, and it has more content, and it has more people, and it has it's had so many years to do what it's done, and yeah. So I don't know why the hell they thought it was a good idea to do that.
So you would say that this game standalone would have been better, or would have sold better, or
What do you mean?
like if they decided to, instead of the MMO direction, like make it like let's compare it to the other thing that BioWare has released, Mass Effect type deal, like a third person sort of.
If
RPG.
they had made a Knights of the Old Republic 3, I would have enjoyed that far more than this.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's because I remember I remember I was in the forums once, and someone, the BioWare forums, and someone was like, I'm excited for this game, but you guys should have made a Knights of the Old Republic 3. I would have enjoyed that much more. And some guy commented back like, "Don't you understand? This game has so many classes, and every class has its own unique story. This isn't just an online game. It's a Knights of the Old Republic 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. You're an idiot. It's not. It's
Now
not."
who's laughing? But speaking of franchises with new games, there's a new Star Trek game coming out. Oh yeah, that was a boss segue.
That was good.
Yeah.
Sure it was. Sure it was.
Yeah.
This is the thing we're talking about, and this is something else that's kind of like the thing we're talking about. But yeah, have you guys seen the teaser trailer for the new Star Trek game?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Looks good.
What is it like? What?
Basically, it's like a third-person action shooter. It looks pretty decent, but it's using like the models they're modeled after the class, the actors from the recent movie. So yeah, that's.
Is it kind of like what they did with the new 007 GoldenEye game?
Yeah,
it's Daniel Craig, but it's still the old setting.
It's not like it's. I think, to my knowledge, that because I'm actually just trying to look up a bit of it now, but it looks like it'll be a completely new storyline, but it'll use models from, the models will be based off the recent cast of.
Okay, but it's still the whole original. So it's not set in the new universe the movie gave us.
It will be set in the new universe. I'm assuming.
Okay, all right.
So I'm assuming since they're using what's his name? The guy who played anyway. But yeah, so it's like Zach. What's his name? The guy who played Spock, who's gay.
No idea.
You guys don't watch.
I don't watch Star Trek.
Oh, what's his name? George. He didn't play Spock. George Takei didn't play Spock. It was Leonard Nimoy played Spock.
Yeah, George Takei played Spock in the original, though. I'm talking new.
No, George Takei didn't play Spock.
He played the other guy, the Chinese guy.
It's still Lou. That's what I said.
He didn't play that guy. He played his ethnicity.
Yeah. That's a thing, right?
But yeah, the game is it's set after the events of the J.J. Abrams film. You'll be playing as Kirk and Spock. Apparently, it wants to be released in 2012, like end of 2012, for Xbox, PS3, and PC. But so they're doing a thing about it at E3.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much everything that's about it. Based on an original story by BAFTA award winner and God of War writer Marianne.
A woman
not pronounce that last
God
name.
of War? I didn't know that.
God of War, right?
Okay, don't go. Please don't go all 1950s on us, Jake. Oh, woman writing books. Let's see what kind of country they got going on there.
It could be good. I was never a massive.
This is a quote from one of the guy who's president at Paramount Digital. Star Trek challenges the boundaries of co-op gameplay with galactic adventure gamers and fans have never experienced.
Wow, that's some nice PR there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it less.
My God, that sentence is just dripping with PR. It literally didn't tell you anything about the game. It was just positive buzzwords. And then again, yeah, that's years though. So.
It's a nice idea.
Oh, sorry to backtrack, but I was looking up the Star Wars Old Republic budget. Their game cost $200 million.
Oh.
Most of them play for licenses, I bet.
Maybe.
I think George has enough money.
No, he needs more flannelette shirts.
The horses don't feed themselves at the Star Trek ranch. Who will feed Clip Club?
And he rides 12 horses at once, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's fat. That's the joke. He's a fat bastard.
Last of Us. Have you guys seen this game that's supposed to be coming out this year?
Is that the one with the dude and the girl and...
Yeah, the zombies.
It's zombies? Because I didn't really...
So. It looks like zombies or some
I thought it was like post-apocalyptic and it was kind of like The Road. And you're just kind of walking around and everything's shit and grim and depressing.
No, it's post... they look like zombies or mutants or some monster.
Zombies. It's zombies.
Hang on. Nope, I got nothing. Apparently, it'll be some... Okay, Biohazard Event A causes apocalypse. These two are The Last of Us. Yeah, see what they did there? But, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It actually looks alright. But once again, based purely off a cinematic trailer.
Yeah. God, those things are Satan.
They're everywhere.
Again, pretty. Love watching them. But I hate the amount of hype they generate, and people are like, this game's gonna be amazing, even though we haven't seen any gameplay footage. Oh my god!
That's just the people's fault, though. They get excited by that so much.
Stupid people.
I can't help but feel that we have lowered the bar after this one.
We don't have a bar.
Right.
It's our second podcast. It's okay.
So there's no bar.
There's no bar.
Okay. Well then, Dick Sacks, double space dicks, and phalange.
Jake, how much of that is staying in the podcast?
All of it.
Excellent.
Sure, why not? Well then, anything else? Okay, so that brings us to the end of another hella long podcast.
Fantastic.
Thank God. Yeah, so thank you for listening. We'll hopefully have another one up next week. But for all three of you who might listen to this or actually make it through the 2 hours,
no one's
nobody's here. So if you got any ideas, I mean, constructive criticisms,
or just criticism.
Yeah, criticism in general. We take that about as well as I will set your house on fire. But yeah, let us know what you guys want to hear. This is a trial and error thing for us. But we want to bring you guys content that you want to hear over time, because otherwise it's just going to be us talking shit for about 2 hours, and there's enough of that on the internet already. But yeah, leave comments. Keep up with the blog. There'll definitely be some new content coming up soon. And I hope you enjoyed it. Jake, Andy, anything you guys say?
I love you.